For daily ask Reddit, cheaters of Reddit, how did the work from home situation affected the affair you were having? One of my staff found out her husband was having an affair at the beginning of lockdown. While we were waiting for equipment, we had staff log onto the system using their own devices, and her husband had saved a hotel booking confirmation to the desktop of the laptop she hadn't used for a while. Idiot. So what happened next? Edit. Thanks random redditor for my first award. It's not great. He was very sorry and didn't want to lose her, promising her the earth. And then the other woman started turning up at the house demanding to see him and wanting to tell her all sorts of tales about what they got up to and shouting at her for standing in the way of true love, etc. She took an overdose not long after and was in hospital for a bit, then moved in with her parents, and we think the other woman had moved in but don't know for certain. When offices were allowed to open again, our company decided they would only be for absolutely essential on-site work, so I had to negotiate with the director for her to be allowed to work in the office a couple times a week, as WFH full-time really wasn't good for her. I've heard a few stories of people getting caught due to the fact that constant texting became real obvious. One case of someone getting caught for inviting people from a dating app over to the house while everyone else was out working. Personally, I have no idea how people find the time to have a job and 2 relationships. Just ridiculous. I have 1 job and 1 relationship. The admin for those is already ridiculous. I can't possibly remember another birthday, let alone remember secrets. This happened at the beginning of quarantine. So my friend got a call from her coworker at 2 AM. Coworker was drunk as hell and was stranded. My friend picked her up and offered her the couch to sleep on and sober up until morning when buses would run again. My friend woke up to find her boyfriend and the coworker having sex right next to her in their bed. She described it as being passionate and almost romantic. My friend freaked out and left right away. Few days later, people start finding out. The coworker claimed it was rape, but didn't want to go to the cops. The boyfriend says he was too drunk. The coworker's own boyfriend decided to stay with her. My friend and her boyfriend had to live together for a few months during quarantine until she found her own place. Best part? A few weeks ago, the 2 cheaters were caught ducking in public and were charged for public indecency. Last year, Jaguar Land Rover had to shed 4,500 employees to reduce their mounting debts. They did this by offering a fat voluntary redundancy package. I mean, this thing was gold plated. If you'd worked there for over 20 years, you were being given almost £40k to walk away, and the guys within 10 years of retirement were going for it. Apart from one fella. See, he had a testing job at Millbrook, so 1 week he was in Warwick and the next at Millbrook, and alternated every week. He'd been in that role since forever and had a wife and kids in Warwick, and also had cultivated a long-term girlfriend and even had kids near Millbrook. Neither knew about the other, and he was telling both families that he was away with work on the alternating weeks. The guy had kept this up for 15 years plus, and I cannot imagine the deceit gymnastics his brain would have to do to keep the lies going. One day he said that he's not looking forwards to retiring, as both women will obviously be expecting him to retire to them, his one family, so that was his deadline. So this VR package comes around, and he has to decline a tax-free lump sum and the ability to retire early because he cannot get out of this mess he's in. I left at this time, but he stayed and must have thought he got a stay of execution. But from what colleagues have said is that when lockdown came into effect and he was furloughed, he got found out anyway and is now being sued and divorced by both women, as well as missing out all that lovely cash. I have no sympathy for him. So the person I thought was my girlfriend was actually having an affair with me. Lockdown made her way less available, especially during normal daytime hours, which had never been an issue before. Started getting very suspicious when she would only speak on the phone and the car. There were a lot of other red flags, but lockdown made it way harder for her to hide her bullshit. The worst part is that we never broke up. She ghosted me, and as everything came to light 2.5 months later, the only response I got was that she has moved on from that part of her life. We had talked about marriage and kids and whatnot, so I should view this as dodging a huge bullet, but I haven't reached that stage yet. My father and I caught my mother in what we found out was a 6+ year affair with her boss at work. She went out to get ice cream and left us her phone to solve a word puzzle she was stuck on. Dad apparently was suspicious and went through her TXTs. It got real ugly when she got home, and our family has been in ruins since.